In.
No, I think Alison's going to have to watch from the sidelines here.
Okay. So, hello, everybody. I can see we've got 28 people, 93 people registered to join us. That's awesome.
Yeah. Hello, folks. I think just making sure chat is enabled.
Alison's in the chat. There you go. Hi to everybody. We can see you all. We're all live and good. So in this webinar, we've got Al with us, who is the everything behind SAS. So you're the developer, you're the user, you're the creator. So this is a bit of a Q&A session. So if anyone's got any questions, pop them in the chat and I will keep an eye on it and I'll pass them over as appropriate. But how about we start a little bit about you and where SAS came from, how long it's been going for?
Okay. Yeah. So my name's Carlton. I've been selling on Amazon about 5.5 years. My Amazon journey started a long time before then as an affiliate. Like I was an affiliate for Amazon, 15 years, something like that.
Wow.
And the affiliate scheme with Amazon's changed massively over the years. But it used to be really, really, really lucrative. And then it just gradually got worse and worse. So at one point, I thought I'd start looking at actually being being a merchant on Amazon. Like in the early days, you couldn't sell on Amazon as a merchant. It was just Amazon selling Amazon stuff. So once FBA came in, I actually didn't, like a lot of customers, I didn't even know there were other people selling on Amazon apart from Amazon at the time. So once I learned about this, I started to dabble in selling my own stuff. So the first thing I sold was a golf rangefinder, which my father...
Do you remember the first item you ever sold? I'd say to people, you never forget that first item. You never forget.
Yeah, because the first one was a golf ball rangefinder. He bought it for me because I thought I might have told him I played a lot of golf, and I didn't really. But he bought me this, and I never used it. So I remember listing it on Amazon on my personal account. I sold it as FBM because I didn't really know much about FBA at the time. And it took a few weeks to sell, but it did sell. And somebody must have got a really good deal because I didn't know anything about pricing. I thought Amazon was a bit like eBay. So that was like first sort of personal sale. Then about 6 months later, I thought I'm doing it as a business. So I think I did what a lot of people do. I went through the house looking at old books, DVDs.
Yeah.
I just listed a load and I actually sent those in for FBA. And so my first business sale I ever made was the book that sort of seven habits of or some. I can't remember.
Habits of highly successful people or something, isn't it?
Yeah, so that was like the first thing that I ever sold to make profit. Well, I'll say to make profit. I probably made a loss on that because I'd have sold it for whatever the going rate was for books at that time. But I certainly had it beforehand.
So did you just kind of dabble and sell a little bit, or did you get quite successful with your sales?
So my first sort of things that I shipped in were all used books and DVDs. Then I started looking at doing sort of RA and OA. So I did a fair bit from Argos. One of my first big sort of sales from Argos was the Millennium Falcons, or Star Wars Millennium Falcons. They're absolutely huge. But I think you can buy them for like £10. Yeah, they're proper oversized. But I'd be buying them for, I think they were £15 and be selling them for like £40 or £50.
Wow, that's a good markup.
I remember like sort of driving in to buy, I was going to buy 5. I remember the girl behind there said it's this much, and I'm like, no, it's not. It should be more than that. And then she was like, oh no, there's a 3 for 2 sale on, and I'm like, excuse me.
Lucky what's it?
Yeah, so these were profitable before, and obviously with a 3 for 2 sale, they're a lot more profitable. And like, so as any sensible person would do when there's a 3 for 2 sale, I bought 5.
Excellent.
So like, I've sort of walked the walk with doing sort of buying and selling. I've certainly made mistakes along the way. And I sort of started off where I'd be buying it, we're doing all the prep in the house, in the kitchen. The stuff would come in, ship it out. And I did it, I started fairly slowly, where I was building capital up and just reinvesting everything. But I did have other money I could invest. So I did put sort of a chunk of money in to help me grow faster. But by taking it, by sort of starting fairly slowly, the mistakes I made didn't cost me as much as they could have done. If I'd invested a load of money at the beginning, I'd have lost a load of money.
True.
So by learning the ropes slowly, or not necessarily slowly, but without doing a huge investment, really helped. So I was prepping in the kitchen for the first few months. Then one of my friends has an industrial unit, so he offered me some of his space, and that was good because then I could start buying wholesale. So I could take delivery on pallets. I've had pallet delivery to the house before, and that isn't fun, having a pallet outside the kitchen door. So then we started using sort of his warehouse space. He put a mezzanine up, so I could use that for storage. And we outgrew that within about 6 months. So then it was a case of me sort of leasing my own industrial unit. So I had like about 1,500 square feet, and I'll be sort of selling from that primarily. We started off primarily OA and wholesale. Like I was doing RA, but I don't particularly enjoy shopping. So I employed somebody to actually do RA in the end. She started off doing the prepping and the packing for me, and then but she wanted more hours. So like, let's do RA. So we bought a white van, and she just sort of drove around in the van for a year.
Wow.
Shopping. So she'd spend like three or 4 days on the road, then like one day.
I bet you had some really good times. I bet you had some really good times doing that. Some fun memories.
Yeah, like it was hard work.
Yeah.
Because the way I sort of looked at the business was the only way to expand it is by getting other people involved.
Yep.
And I could have gone, like, you can only do, there's only so many hours, you can only do sort of so much yourself. So what I've always tried to do with various businesses, my first choice is to automate, which is one of the reasons where SAS came about from, was like automating parts of the business that you can do manually. And then I also look at doing outsourcing. So I'd automate where I can, and if I can't automate it, I'd look at outsourcing. And I like to, the SAS is the sort of automation side of it.
We've got some questions in about SAS, actually. So I'm going to start with Luke's question. It says, why does SAS only display the average sales per month for some products and not for others? Is that going to come to all of the items at some point soon?
Yeah, it really depends on what information Amazon sort of gives us, because like Amazon doesn't provide sales figures. It just doesn't do it. So it does provide a sales rank. So the way, I'll just go onto the SAS screen. So the way it works with the estimated sales is like, if it's a relatively slow selling product, or like 50 or so items, sort of 50 or so sales a month.
Is that what you class as a low seller, 50? Is that what you class as a low seller selling amount?
Yeah, round about that. Because it does depend per category. But like, if it's fairly slow, you can, what you do, like really do it manually, you count these sort of dips on a keeper chart, where your BSR goes down, and when you get a dip there, it's normally one or more sale. It's not 100% accurate, but it's like the best information that we've got. So for slow selling things, we count the dips on the keeper chart, like what you do manually. So it's our way of automating it. And like, it's not in exact science, because like some dips can be more than one, but you can do sort of your best guess from that. like for like the slower the selling product is, the better it is because your dips are much more obvious.
Okay.
But like as your sales get faster, keeper doesn't update as quickly. So if you're doing something that's selling thousands a month, you're not going to get 1,000 dips on the keeper chart. So
and you wouldn't see them either. They'd be so tiny. You just wouldn't see them, would you?
Yeah. Well, when you're doing it on a computer, it doesn't matter what size them, you can still detect them, but they're actually not there. The keeper does not get the sort of refresh that fast. And also, Amazon doesn't change the sales rank that fast. It doesn't. If it's on a fast-selling item, every time there's a sale, Amazon isn't necessarily going to change the sales rank. So you can't do it for your sort of super fast-selling items like that. So the way we do it for the faster-selling items, we look at the BSR, and we've got some known data points which we've got from various places. I won't go into that because that's like trade secrets.
Super secret.
Yeah, then you basically do sort of, you work out an average of how much you think it will be. The reason we've not got it on every item at the moment, like we've got it in the majority of categories, but there's a couple of categories and some items that Amazon just do not share the sales rank with you on. And when that happens, we've got nothing to go on. Like electronics is a big one where they don't do that. Like books, we just haven't got enough of the faster selling data to be able to do books. Like, so what we are doing in the future, we will, when we can do it with the BSR, we will. And the faster selling ones, we're still like building up the data points to do that. At the moment, I'd say we're probably doing estimated sales for about 95% of the catalogue. And so I kind of pulled that figure out of the air. That's what I'm thinking it will be roundabout. But like when Amazon do not share the BSR, which is in certain, I say certain categories, it's a subset of certain categories when they don't do it. When that's the case, we just don't know.
Okay.
And
well, I think electronics is one of those categories that isn't maybe the best for us to sell in anyway. So I'm assuming it's up and running and working in toys, beauty, grocery, all the kind of bigger categories that we sell in. Is that?
Yeah, like the only. Yes, yeah, it's certainly in all of those. Like, so electronics is one. I think books and DVDs is another, which we haven't got the data on yet. And some of these will never have the data on. Others will build it up over time.
Perfect. So we have another question. If I use the seller amp, do I need to buy the keeper separately, or can I use the keeper in SAS?
Okay, like we've got like a developer subscription to Keeper, where we sort of get a lot of Keeper data from. So SAS will work whether you've got a Keeper subscription or not. Like the data we use from sort of Keeper, where you got like ranks and prices, you can see the current price, then your various average prices. We also embed the Keeper graph directly from Keeper, so you don't need a Keeper subscription to see that. We use ours to get the graph from them. On this graph, we're not generating this. This is directly from Keeper.
Okay, so would it be fair to say that maybe someone on a bit of a budget who's quite new, who wants to kind of keep their money in stock, they can survive with your Keeper chart, and then as they get maybe a bit better, it's better to buy the full one. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, like I like Keeper not just for the charts. To be honest with you, there's lots of things you can do with Keeper as well. I'd certainly recommend it anyway.
Yep.
But yeah, when you're starting out, you could get away with what we've got in SAS. And we are adding a lot of other Keeper features, and other Keeper charts are coming to SAS soon. They're in development, and some of them are in test at the moment.
Yep. Okay. Okay, so another question. I've noticed that Amazon are on lots of the listings, and even though they are the lowest selling and have the buy box, does that leave us out? So basically, I think the question is, can you compete with Amazon? I think is the general gist behind that question.
Yeah,
have you competed with them when you sold?
Yes, like when I was selling Amazon would not scare me from listing a product most of the time. There's a few, like I wouldn't list a book if Amazon is also on that listing, because Amazon do not share the buy box with books whatsoever.
Okay.
And I've had it before where they'd have a book for like £30. I'd be selling it for £10 at a profit, and I would never have the buy box.
Wow.
But other items, you can be within the price, within matching Amazon. You can even be a bit higher, and they will share the buy box with you. Like we do show in the alerts if Amazon share their buy box, and the way that works, we look at the history of the buy box and see if it has been shared with other sellers. So that's a good indication of whether you'd want to go on whether Amazon has shared the buy box in the past.
Okay. I noticed on the screen there you've got a red IP alert. So how, obviously I don't want to go into secret stuff, but how do you have a good place where you know about what has an IP issue? What do you have, like a database of stuff where you've got brands, or how does it work, and how much can you say?
Yeah, we work with Fast Track FBA, where we've got like a public domain database that we're working with IP brands. But like things get added to it, we've got to see proof that there has been an issue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if I message you and said brand A is a problem, you wouldn't just mark that without actually seeing that, knowing that for sure?
No.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
and this is a good example, actually.
Parkinson Fast Track FBA, is that the same that you usually work together?
Yes.
Awesome. That's really cool. That's really cool.
So with this one, this is actually Lakeland. This is a brand that I actually used to sell quite a while ago, and I must admit I never had any IP issues with it. Like I'll give you an example. Like with these ones, with the Tupperwares, I was buying them from, because Lakeland used to only sell FBM on Amazon, and their postage was quite high. So I was able to buy them in bulk from Lakeland, generally with some sort of, if not any sort of discounts on, and I'd be listing against the same brand. But as they were FBM charging postage, I'd be doing FBA. I'd be charging slightly higher than what they were selling them for, and I would still be getting sales.
Wow.
And that's basically like I'd be buying like hundreds of them with like one lot of postage, right? And they're selling it to a customer with one of the products with the postage on top. So I could compete on price. Like it wasn't a massive amount of profit, but the sales on this were ridiculous. And
now they're not safe to sell.
Well, I did sell some actually list Q4, which is one of those items which magically reappeared in my inventory, which Amazon, I've sent them into Amazon and they've lost them and they've found them again.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I sold them without issue.
Oh.
I think everybody's seen that way. You get your inventory adjustments where some things disappear, then they reappear again, and yeah, these just kind of magically appeared in my account.
So David's given us a question. It's quite a few questions, so we'll sort of rock through them for a bit. The off account appears to only show new. Is it possible to show used items in the off account?
Like, I'll show you. One of the things that I've got in test at the moment is where is it?
And I'm gonna double that up with Heather's question. How do you get it to look like that? So you're in the website, not the. So you're in the web, not the Chrome extension, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah. So going back to the used one, we have got a used offers panel in test at the moment. You won't see it in your system, but yeah, we have got that in test.
Coming soon.
I must admit, it works really well for doing used. You can filter in all the conditions and what have you.
So could you do used books with that then?
Yes, yeah, that's one of the big uses of it. I won't do a demo of it now because I've just changed something this week, which I haven't tested with used yet, so I don't want to demo it in case it doesn't work. So, but that is in development and test, which I will be rolling out.
Awesome, love that. And so, how do you get it to look like this? Because my program look like this.
Right. So this is the web app side of SAS. So with SAS, you've got the mobile app, Chrome extension, and the web app. So with the web app, it's basically the SAS website, or it's just sas.salaryamp.com. Then what it does, as on the web app, you've got a lot more, you've got more width than you've got on the mobile app or the extension. We can have multiple columns.
Okay.
So in the extension, for example, if I just pin this on the side, it's all in one column. Well, on the web app, see, it's gone up into 4 columns. So it's responsive, so it will fill your screen. So I find using extensions is the fastest way when you're sort of browsing around to look on different sites, whether you're on the Amazon or on other websites, to look at things in SAS. But if I'm going from the history, or I want to do a search, just copy and paste search, I prefer using the web app just because I've got more space, so I can get more on the screen. Like, I don't know, with my screen now, I'm pretty zoomed in on this.
So Jess has asked, can you please highlight some of the more advanced features and how they should be used? So I'm thinking Google Sheets, maybe. What else is an advanced feature? eBay is quite an advanced feature. Oh, the tabs, they're awesome. They're quite advanced. So I've thrown 3 things at you there. Just do that.
Yeah, like the Google Sheets one, like you often find you create a buy sheet of things that you've bought in the past, and you use it to track your sales, track your profit, and you see you've got like a permanent record. So with our Google Sheet integration on here, see, I've got 2 Google Sheets set up. I've got an Argos 3 for 2 and a SAS buy sheet 2. The way you sort of set up a Google Sheet, you just go into Sheets, then set up. Now, my Google account is connected at the moment. If you need to connect your Google account, all you do, you click the button saying connect, and it'll take you through a couple of steps. So you choose which account it is, you give SAS permission, and that's it. And that would also then create a sheet for you. So say you wanted to create a new sheet. So again?
Have you got an example you can show us, or is that chucking you on the spot a little bit?
Oh, creating a new sheet?
Yeah.
What
would you
okay, all I would do, if I create a new sheet now, click new. So it's going off, it's talking to your Google account, and it has created this sheet now. So this is the sheet ID. One thing I'm really strict about is permissions. And with Google Sheets, the permissions are quite funny, where you either give apps permission to do anything they like, which I think is really dangerous, or you can give an app permission to create a sheet, and it can edit sheets and sort of play with sheets that it has created. So that's what we use in SAS. We can only access a sheet that we have created. So it gives you sort of the security and sort of peace of mind, like, yeah, we can't see all your sheets. Like, we wouldn't want to anyway, but the fact that it's actually impossible for us to do now.
Yeah, I've had that. You give permission, it says so-and-so can access all your sheet, or your, yeah, and you're like, I don't know if I want them to see everything else.
Yeah, well, yeah, like, yeah, exactly. So,
but until you said that, the penny didn't drop as to what actually, I know it sounds really dim of me, but until you said that, the penny didn't drop what it actually meant. Because I'm one of those people that go, please tick terms and conditions, tick, move on, hurry up, enough.
Yeah.
I didn't even realise, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, so all of this, I've done a new sheet. So if I click on open in Sheets, that's this spreadsheet now that SAS has created for us. So we've just clicked new sheet and that was it. So this is now in our Google Drive. If I go back here, we'll do test and write headers. So that's written the headers over to that sheet that we've just created. So then with the field mappings, so this is what we're exporting to the sheets. So we've got, like, say, export date, product name, that's in blah, 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 blah. So on here, we can choose all the different fields. So you got fields that are related to the product, fields that are related to the scan that you've just done. And when I say scan, your scan could be on a mobile app, or you could be looking at an Amazon page and it automatically will surely sort of SAS details to the products you're looking at. We call that a scan. It's either a scan or a lookup. So it's not necessarily a scan that you scan the barcode, it is you've looked at the product.
Yep.
Then we've got the various sort of prices and currency code, all the different taxes and fees. There are different calculations that we do.
Oh, sorry. So you can build like a really simple basic sheet if you want to with 2 or 3 columns, or if you're a real detail person, you can go to town with as much as you want and filter it and play around with it.
Yes. Wow. And then what we've got, so we've got all these sort of the various sort of averages. Then at the bottom, we've also got the advanced, which is a formula. So what you can do in the formula one, you can enter a formula like you would in a normal sheet. So in here, what I would say I wanted to do, what's the sale price? So the sale price is going into the F column. So what's the sale price minus the cost price? Like that. So I'll sort of save that away.
You do know you've just written a whole new language of which I do not speak. So I think we need to have a YouTube video because you've just written Hebrew.
Yeah, I am so overdue doing a YouTube video on this.
Yeah, I think we need to do a video on that because that's awesome. But yeah, that's super advanced. I hope that's advanced.
I'll complete it. So if I just refresh that now, you can see we've got a SAS buy sheet 3.
Yep.
So I'll export to there. So now you see we've got
done.
I've got it just exported, and this is a formula at the end there. So that is the sale price minus the cost price. As you can see here, the cost price is 0. So 12 man is also 0. So if I entered it as just enter it as 5, export it again, and you'll see now that's on like $7.99.
Awesome.
Yeah, so if you know what you're doing with sheets, you can do a lot of really powerful things with a formula where you could actually put in, you could have a keeper graph embedded in there. You could actually embed graphs in a formula into your sheet. So with the sheets, like they use the buy sheets, but the way I'd also use them, I'd use them for different things. So you could create your own sheet for replenishables. You could just have a temporary sheet if you're doing, say you've got somebody doing RA, and you just want to have a sheet quickly for doing the RA things that they're doing on that sort of trip. You could have a separate sheet for each of your VAs. It's really quick and easy just to create a new sheet, customize it how you would like, and then sort of either keep it or remove it.
Excellent. Can you just have a quick talk through the tabs? Because I think that's a really awesome feature. That's quite unique to you guys too. And that's quite an advanced feature if you want to break things down and filter basically within SAS, I think.
Tags, yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought you said tabs. I'm like, oops.
Did I say tabs? I might have done. That might be me.
No, yeah, so with tags, we go back to the settings. So at the bottom of the settings page, you've got these tags. Like by default, everybody has got a star tag. But you can create new tags of whatever you want it to be. So we'll do a demo. No, we'll do a demo tag. So you create your tags. So when you do on your search, the tags go in the other info field. So I'll just refresh this to get the new demo tag. So when you sort of see a product, if you want to make a note of it for later, you can just click on the tag. So actually in the other info field, you've got source, which if you're looking on a different website, oops, just lost my headphone.
Got
Can
us.
you still hear me? Okay?
Yeah, we've got you. We're still there.
Yeah. Okay.
Excellent.
So if you're on a sort of another website where you're using the extension, the source will be automatically populated with that website.
Okay.
If you're doing RA or wholesale, you wanted to put something else in the source, you can just manually type it in. Then we've got the notes as well. If you want to make a note against the product,
Yeah.
and where this is used in your history, you can see like in this one I've tagged it with it's got a demo tag on it. It's also got the star tag on it.
Yeah. Sorry, forgive me. I don't know if you can hear
what we can do is if I sort of select the demo in the filter on the history, apply that, and then you're just going to show the items that you've actually applied that tag to. So we did the tags before we did the Google Sheets. So a lot of the functionality you can do with tags is what you could also do with Google Sheets, where you could actually highlight things later. So because what I find when I was sort of selling more was that you'd have your replenishable list, you'd have things that you'd want to look at sort of later on, like I'd have products which they're replenishable, but they might only be replenishable when the store was doing a 3-for-2 sale. So I would tag it saying, look at these when there's a 3-for-2 sale on. This 3-for-2 sale came, I could then.
All the sales kind of rotate. So like for example, Head and Shoulders is always on 3 for £10, but they change which store they're in. So that would be a good tag to use, I imagine.
Yeah, like the girl I employed used to work for Boots, so we knew a lot about what the hot products were, when the sales were, what was going to, what were good prices, what were the lowest.
As on an aside, did you ever get around the Boots minimum or maximum order issue? Did you actually manage to successfully order multiples or not?
Yeah, I posted about it a few times where this might be different now, but like when I looked at it, it was actually in Boots' terms and conditions that they wouldn't deliver to industrial or business sort of facilities like prep centres. So when people were saying, my order got banned, it's like, you're going to a prep centre, it's in their terms. So we did it to sort of residential addresses, and what we'd find, if you get to like a happy amount that you could order before there be any problems, you'd do that order, as soon as confirmation came, and you'd do the order again. So instead of having like one big order, you'd have a dozen sort of smaller orders.
I am currently in Boots jail. I've been in there about a week, so I just have to wait and be released to carry on again. We have a question. Can you explain the replen button? I think you mean the refresh button. Do you want to just show us what that means when you use that button?
Yeah. So one of the things we've done with SAS is to made it as fast as possible. So in the ranks and prices, you've got the refresh. So with this one, this was checked 6 minutes ago. So what happens when you do a scan? It will show the results as quickly as we can. And what we're also doing in the background is we're updating. So whilst you're looking at this page, we are grabbing the results in the background as well. So that's why if I do refresh now, so this page has been here 4 minutes. So what the refresh does is basically talking to Keeper. Again, it's telling Keeper, because when you get your results off Keeper, it takes a little while, which is why we cache things. So what the refresh does, it gets the latest Keeper information. So we will display it as fast as we can, and we update it in the background. So refresh will then bring that in. So the reason we do it on
I've seen it where it's last refreshed like 33 days ago or something like that. Does that mean it was last checked by a SAS user 33 days ago?
Yes. One thing I'm going to do, I'm going to lower that down to a lot. So it's going to be like within a week, probably even less than that. Well, we're working on something which will make it instant. In the meantime, we're going to do something else.
from my business model, I quite like that. From my business model, I quite like that. If I see something which hasn't been refreshed for like 20 days, that means no one else is looking at it. So that gives me like a reason to dig a bit deeper, because maybe it's a good product that no one else has spotted or isn't taking action. And I quite like it when I spot quite old ones.
Yeah, especially could. Yeah, I suppose that's a positive spin on it.
Otherwise, you're one of my secret ways in.
Yeah, you could look at it that way.
There you go. So another question, please. Can you explain where we enter our costs and how they're best calculated? That's from Emma.
Okay, so I'm going to do it on the web version, as it's bigger and easier to share. But if you're on the extension, you would do it in the settings. So you click there to go to the settings page, and that's it. But that's exactly the same as going to the settings page on the web version. It's just on the web version. It's just bigger and it's easier for you to share. So the way the settings are sort of split up. Well, we'll do the costs first. So what we've got here is additional costs. So the prep, and these are all per item. So the prep fee, if you're using a prep centre and they're charging you 50p, you'd put 50p in here. If you're doing the prep yourself, you can either put a cost in that equates to what your cost is of doing this prep, or you could leave it as blank. That's totally up to you. So your prep fee is what.
Don't ever leave it blank. Always charge yourself out of something.
Yeah, I would say I would agree with that. But one thing you'll find is if you're doing the prep yourself, some things take hardly any prep whatsoever, while other things may take a fair bit. So you've got to judge it.
I'm now banned from buying glass jars. My husband's like, enough prepping glass, no more. So he knows. Yes, it's just too labour intensive for us to prep that ourselves.
Yeah. Because I've had boxes when doing wholesale. The box will come in. I'll just stick a label on the box, and it goes straight out to FBA. So the prep for that is minimal. So having an item prep doesn't really make sense. Whilst if I was using it, and this is like one of the reasons why I didn't use a prep centre for a lot of my sort of selling business, is because it was cheaper for me to actually lease a warehouse and employ staff to do things like that than it was to pay for a prep centre to do it. And that just really does depend on how you scale. I guess for some business models, using a prep centre is going to be much more economically viable than doing it yourself. But so your prep fee is your cost, whether you're using a prep centre, you're doing it yourself. So you want to allow for prepping an item.
Yeah.
The miscellaneous fee, and like this is say another fixed fee per item. If you want to add anything else on, and like this could be, so you want to have like a £1 wriggle room with the price. You want to make sure it's still going to be profitable if you've got to pay out another £1 for whatever reason.
Okay.
And on this, it's totally up to the sort of user how they do that. We've also got a MISC fee as a percentage of the cost. Like an example where I might use this is I've got an item that I get a lot of returns. I'd want to say, okay, so a very bad item if you get like 10% returns. But if I added on like a 10% MISC fee to the cost, that would take that into account.
Oh. And how would you work out your inbound shipping? So tell me if I'm right. For me, I try and get all my boxes 15 kilograms, and I'm VAT registered, so it's £3.60. So I just simply 3.6 divided by 15. That's how I would, and that's what I've put in my stat. Is that about right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Actually, one thing I will add with all of these fees, these are before VAT. So whether you're VAT registered or not, you should be entering these fees before VAT. Because then when you see on the SAS settings where it says, if you're VAT registered, it will say VAT due. That's just based on your sale price and cost price. If you're not VAT registered, you will have VAT on fees. And that is a VAT that's been added onto the Amazon fees and also these additional fees. And like one of the reasons for doing it this way is like I think just if a prep centre isn't VAT registered, I'd ask them why.
Yeah.
But your prep centre will be a business. They should be charging you VAT, and they will typically be quoting you what their cost is before VAT.
Perfect.
So you'd enter the cost before VAT and the additional cost.
So we have another question from Paul. Does it show the competitor stock level?
Yes. So in your sort of display here, we have offers. So this is the sort of other sellers' offers. So as you can see with this one, it's a fast-selling product. So the first offer is actually Lakeland, who is the brand. They've got, say, 159 in stock, and they've also got another listing with 999 in stock.
You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to sell FBA twice in the same listing.
Well, being allowed to do something and doing something are two very different things.
True. Okay. So have you?
If I just go to another product, I'll have a bit more.
Oh, there we go.
Right. So with this one, we've got the stock levels for the different offers. So we hover over. So in the seller column, the color tells you the fulfillment type. So this is a really good example, actually. So you've got FBM in yellow, you've got FBA in green, Amazon's obviously in orange, and SFP for your seller fulfilled prime. As it's not quite FBA, it's not quite FBM. We just did it as stripes.
Perfect.
But we also, it's also written in here. We also write in this. It's not just the color. You can see it's FBM or FBA by the actual letters inside.
Awesome.
The other thing we've got on here is
accumulates, doesn't it? Your stock count accumulates as well.
Yeah. Well, I'll explain the sort of panel sort of fully. Where the bold one means it's got the buy box. So in this case, Amazon's got the buy box. It's in bold. If there's no bold in there, there's no buy box. So the cumulative. So Amazon's got 999 in stock. The next guy, seventh I mentioned, has only got 9, but the cumulative is like 9 plus 999 to 1,008. So that's the stock up to that point in the offer. Because what you often find is, like, if you're priced at $54.99, these guys have got to sell before you're going to see the buy box.
Yep.
Just because your price difference is that much. So looking at cumulative here, you can see there's like 1,017 pieces of stock before you're going to see it. So that's how the cumulative works. That's
really helpful as data for buying decision. That's really, if you know you have to sell at 54 to make your profit, that's a really helpful flag as to whether maybe you should or shouldn't buy it.
Yeah.
Really good.
So one of the things that, so say with this one, like it's got crazy sale prices. I've been sort of messing around. Say we're getting it for, say we can get it for £15. Okay. Now, if you click on any sort of price in here, it will automatically update the profit calculator and the quick info. So I can see if I match $27.99, I'm sort of making you 27%. If I could go down, click here, change to $31.99, and all these figures update just about instantaneously. So you can
awesome. I've never seen that. I didn't know you could do that. It's really cool.
That's one of those sort of, it's not necessarily a hidden feature, but it's not immediately obvious. Like it's immediately obvious when it says, so what like hazmat no, but anything that is a sale price, clicking it will update the calculators on any sale price.
Yeah.
Well, if there's any cost price, and there's not as many cost prices, you've got the maximum cost one, so clicking that will update the cost price here.
We had a chat before we went live, and that's your favourite feature as a seller, isn't it? The maximum cost price. I love it, because if you scan something, you see maximum cost price is 12, and you can see on the shelf it's 13. There's no point in scanning it. It's such a quick and easy. Yeah.
It's like when I sort of first created SAS, the max cost had its own panel. It was that important, which was a bit of a waste of space. But yeah, I've tried to make SAS, but it's fast from a performance point of view, but I also want it to be fast as a usability point of view. Like if you're in a store, you don't want to have to enter the cost price to see if something's profitable or not. But by giving you the max cost, you know instantly whether.
Just quickly, the max cost is set based on your personal criteria you set within SAS. So it's not your max cost and my max cost, it's the max cost for that particular user.
Yeah. So the way the max cost is calculated, it uses the additional costs and fees that you entered in your settings, and it uses your buying criteria.
Yeah.
So you say what minimum profit you want to make. You say what minimum return on investment you want to make, and that's how we calculate your max cost.
And that's where you get the thumbs up, thumbs down and stuff. It's all based on your particular criteria.
Yes. So if I expand the maximum cost in here, it shows your minimum return on investment 25%, your minimum profit is £2, your sale price is £28.95. That is your max cost.
Awesome.
If I could only have one feature in SAS, max cost is what it would be.
It is. It's a really good feature. So you kind of touched on the next question. So the next question is, does it have can you use it on mobile app? Is basically the question. So SAS has worked on Android and iOS for about a year now, hasn't it? And it's pretty much going as planned. Yeah. Not too many issues. It's going really well, I think.
Because when we first developed SAS, the first thing we did was mobile.
So it was an RA tool then? It kind of become an RA tool. Was that the right way around?
Yeah, because we did it because there's nobody else doing sort of a mobile app like this. So yeah, because I employed a girl to do RA, so we developed bits that make it easier, and she can make better decisions. And one of the big ones was I'm in a store, what's the maximum cost I should pay? So I'd get the telephone call saying what's the maximum cost I should pay, you could work it out. So yeah, that's why the max cost is there. And yeah, so we created it as the mobile app, and then actually the way we've developed it, we could do the mobile app and the extension on the web app. The code base, or the work behind the scenes to do that, is probably 95% the same on all the mobile, Chrome extension, and the web app.
So we've kind of evolved into the next question too. Ben says, I currently use Bybot Pro. Can you outline any features that SellerAmp has that exceeds other software? And there are others other than Bybot Pro. There's 3 or 4 of them. So one of the ones I'd say for sure, my favourite piece of feature is the history. So I've got kids and I've got quite a busy life. So if I run into a shop and I know I can scan something, forget about it, close my phone, do my shopping, come home, and then I can pick that item up in the history here and have a look at it on the desktop and analyze it properly. That's my favorite feature. And I think you're the only people who have that feature. Am I right in that?
To be honest with you, I don't look that much at the other apps.
Yep.
But I think I've sort of looked in probably a good year ago now. We try and be different. I've developed it from a seller's point of view.
Yep.
I've been doing sales, I've employed people to do sales, I've done RA, OA, and wholesale. So I've been trying to develop a tool that works, answers those questions. Yeah. So some of the, I think one of the big features, which, as far as I'm aware, the other sort of tools don't do, is with SAS, you go on an Amazon page, it shows you the results. You don't have to do anything. It shows you the max cost. It shows you all of the information without you having to enter a cost or anything like that and push it, analyze, or whatever. It just does it.
Yeah.
If you enter the cost, then we can give you more information and further information. But from a speed point of view, that's it. You just go on the Amazon page.
So quick. That is quick as lightning. SAS is really quick. Can you just show the history feature, because I love that. That's my favorite feature you've got. And if you scan something and then can't remember you scanned it a couple of hours ago or yesterday, or that thing that you were talking to your friend about, you can pop in that's your history there, is it?
Yeah, so that's your sort of history. Actually, you can search it. Like I do. I think Lego is one of the ones I always use. So search for Lego.
I know if anyone follows Alison and I on our videos, Alison's constantly searching squirrels. Now, we haven't done a squirrel video for 3 or 4 weeks. So if you put in the word squirrel, would it find them? Would it bring up our squirrels?
Yeah, I'm sure she does this. Because I can't spell squirrel. I can't say it very well. I used to have a speech impediment as a child. This is one of the words I still struggle with.
Oh, I didn't. Sorry about that. Oops.
No, it's all right.
When you get off. There you go. You've got them. So Alison and I looked at these probably back in December. So I mean, obviously it's January now. So if anyone watched on the replay, so 4 or 5 weeks has passed. And in the world of a seller with a VA, you can scan hundreds, if not 1,000 items in that time. So it's just nothing ever gets lost on SAS. If I look at mine, I think I've got like 20,000 scans or something nuts like that. So I think there's no limit as to how far back you can go back with things you scanned. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Your history is from when you first started using SAS. It's totally private to you. But yeah, your history is your SAS history.
Sorry, go on. Yep.
Because the other thing that we've also got is, for this item, you have it with a scan history SAS panel. Like all the SAS panels are configurable, whether you want to see them or not. You can switch them on or off. But we've got your scan history, which this is really useful if you are like with my one. Mine's a bit fixed. Mine's in development. So I often scan the same thing over and over again just while I'm testing things. But in your normal scan history, this will show you when you've scanned this SAS in before. So with this one, it's done with the extension. The icon down here says it was done with the web app. If you enter the cost in before, it will be here. What the sale price was when you scanned it in before. So like the way I'd use this in real life with the scan history, I'd have the panel shrunk, which you can do again with any of the SAS panels. And if it's got the sort of blue icon here with the number in, that's how many times I've scanned it before. So you're not really interested in this panel if you haven't scanned it before, but if you have, it's useful to be able to go back because you might see something now like you're seeing it for £10, but it's in your scan history at £5 from a different store. It's worth going to that other store and looking, is it £5 there again?
See, the other thing we talked about before we went live is that I use Seller Toolkit and I use SAS. So I've been selling for quite a while now. So if there was something that I sold back in, I don't know, summer of 2019, sold 10, forgot about it, moved on. If I now scan that in 2021 with SAS, it will tell me if it's got a little STK section there, and it will tell me if I've ever had the product in my inventory, how many did I sell, what did I sell it for. I've now been selling too long to remember everything I've ever put in my inventory, and I think that's a really awesome, unique feature. Because if you sold it before, why can you sell it again, or why did you stop selling it? It's just a way to not make sure you're not reinventing the wheel. There you go.
So with the scan history is when you've scanned it in SAS. If you've got Seller Toolkit and you're subscribed, we can link to it. So this will then show you how many units you've sold, when your first sale was, when your last sale was. Like with my STK account, I think I've only got 12 months of data. So like I used to sell it a long time ago, but then Amazon found it again in December for whatever reason. So I started selling it again. As you can see, so I've sold 81 units in December.
And the best thing is you don't have to leave your SAS screen to see that information. You don't have to go into STK or go anywhere else. It's all there in front of you. Okay, going into question about other features and softwares. I've got a question here. How would a VA use and connect to the Google Sheets? So can your VA use SAS? And if so, how can they connect into your Google Sheets?
Yeah, so when you sort of create your SAS account, you create the connection to your Google Sheets here. Like once you've given SAS permission, it writes the sheet from like up in the cloud. So with VAs, they would use your login, your SAS login to get in, and the sheets would just work. The VA doesn't need to set anything up at all. Once you've set your sheet up, it's tied to that SAS account.
Awesome. So how can you give access to your VA to your SAS account?
At the moment, they would use your username and password to log into the SAS account.
That's awesome. How many devices can you download it to?
With the I'll go back to the Celeron page. So we've got two packages at the moment. We've got the Getting Started and the sort of Getting Serious. So yeah, Getting Started one is one phone app install, 2 Chrome extensions, and a 1 web app active session, which basically means you can be using the web app on any machine, but only one person at a time can be using it. So you're Getting Started package, so 2 Chrome extensions, 1 phone install on the web app. If you're going for the Getting Serious one, then you get 3 phone installs, 5 Chrome extension installs, and they can be using the web app simultaneously on 3 different machines.
Awesome. So I've got the Getting Serious ones because a couple of my VAs have got access to SAS, so we're all in at the same time. And no problems whatsoever with that. It works beautifully for all of us, I think.
Yeah. I think I will be changing that.
Okay.
At some point, so instead of it being the 3 different things, what I'll probably change it to is like the Getting Started. There'll be 3 installs, and whether that's like it could be 3 phones or 3 extensions or whatever, rather than differentiating between them.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so we have another question. Does SAS automatically add VAT to Amazon fees?
Yeah. If I go back to the settings, so when you sort of set up, you've got your VAT settings. So it's not applicable means you're in a marketplace that doesn't have VAT. So that's for US sellers, or if you're selling on, like say, .com. If you're not registered, you say you're not registered, which is what most of us are when we first start selling. Then you could be on standard rate or the flat rate. So as not registered, let me.
Alison, I've just scrolled up a little bit. Alison's said, can you show a scan? We can't see it through the phone screen. Is there any chance you can demonstrate a scan? If you can't, don't worry. I don't know how set up you are for that. We did a video on it. So what I'll do, everyone, is I'll link Alison's video that we literally did last week, and it was all about the mobile app. So I'll put a link to that in there. That'll make it. I think that answers that. I think actually.
Okay, so I've got the VAT settings panel enabled, so you can see it on the SAS results. Normally, if you're not registered, you wouldn't enable this panel, because you don't need to. But this is really good for doing demos, or if you need to change it when you're doing standard rate. So if you're not registered, what we have here in the profit calculator, VAT on fees. So that base calculates the VAT that is added on to the Amazon fees and any other costs that you have, and then that's taken into account when we're working out your max cost and all the return on investment, profits, etc. So it's VAT on fees there when you're not registered. If you were registered, say on standard rates, then it changes to VAT due. And that's a good example where you saw then things turned red, because like you've got VAT, you've got to sort of price and buy accordingly to take that into account. So when you're standard rate, then you get your VAT due. So you're not paying, there's no VAT to be added onto the fees, but your VAT due is calculated based on your sale price and your cost price. I won't go into a full on how the VAT works, but you can, for 0 rated items, you can turn that off. For like 5% items, you can use a reduced VAT rate.
Quick tip for people who use VAs: if you do scan yourself and change your VAT on cost or turn it off because you're looking at something, turn it back on. Otherwise, everything your VAs find that day will not be profitable. I learned that one through painful experience. I accidentally turned my VAT off for one example, and then all my products they found that day didn't compute properly. I think I got a bit confused. A couple of people have said there's a replen button. So I talked about the refresh button, but they're saying there's a replen tag. Am I right? Have I not seen that before? Have I missed something?
Possibly. If I think this might be Alison's, where she sets up a tag to tag things that are replenishable. So she'd be, well, it's either going to be Google Sheets replenishable, so you're pushing a button to go to replenishable sheets, or it's going to be a tag. Oh, sorry, yeah, I'm saying Alison, it's me. So if I want to tag something, say it's replenishable, I would use that tag to say it's replenishable. Then I could go into my history and sort of filter it on the replenishable tag. So yeah, when you create tags, you want to name them something that's meaningful to you, and that's what we replenish. If anybody ever wants to,
with the chat, in the chat, I'm not even keeping up. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm too engrossed. I'm trying to watch out and do the chat. So Alison's answered that in the chat, and she's explained that it was the tag. So yes, but thank you for pointing that out. Okay. Gabby asked, where can I see the monthly sales? I know we talked about it, but where can she actually see it if she wants to look it up?
Right. So with the monthly sales, in the ranks and prices panel, you've got estimated sales here. So this is obviously a mega fast selling product where it's got a sales rank of 181, but 187 currently. So yeah, it's selling a crazy number of items a month. So yeah, when we know it, we display it here. What I'm going to do, if we don't know it, I'll say estimated sales unknown, just so you know you've looked in the right place and we just don't know.
Okay.
Because at the moment, if we don't know, we don't put that there. But okay. I will modify that this afternoon.
Excellent. So shall I just explain? You're in America, so your time zone is very different to us in the UK. If anyone got confused. Sorry. So we've also have. Does it show if Amazon shares the buy box? Now I know we kind of discussed it, but can you just hover over and point out where? What are you looking for it to say? You've got probably.
Yeah. No. Yes. So Amazon shares the buy box. We look at the history of the buy box and see how many different owners it's had. I think we're looking over the past sort of 12 months and whether we are seeing like the buy box has been shared. Because one of the features that we are going to be adding in quite a lot more data, which will be it will be like advanced keeper data, and what we'll be showing there is like the percentage of time Amazon are on the listing.
That's and how I love how often they're in stock. So I'm happy with anything where it's like 49% so they're in stock less often than they're not in stock, if that's the right way around. But yeah, so that's a really awesome piece of data.
Like we've got quite a lot of other information that we don't show at the moment, so we will be adding it. But like there's already a lot of information there, so it's a case of finding ways of adding it where we don't want to sort of bombard you with information, but we want to give you the ability to dig deeper if you want to dig deeper.
It's awesome. You can close your panels. So if you just don't want to see something, or you do something like I don't sell on eBay, so I've just turned off the eBay panel, or you can close things that you don't want. So you can open up and dig as deep as you like, and it's a really good way to display it on the screen.
Yeah.
So we have another question from Steve. This is one for the future, maybe. Is there any way you can make the FBA, FBM, SPF interactive? I.e., if I click on the button, it takes me to the seller's page. Is that possible?
Yes.
Yes, in theory, or yes, it does?
Well, no, yes, in theory. Like, so at the moment, you can click on the icon next to the product title, and that takes you to the product page. Actually, I think this is probably a really good example. Yeah, so actually this is one of those annoying ones where Amazon have got the buy box, even though they're not going to be in stock till February the 20th, which is somewhat frustrating for us sellers. But yeah, so at the moment, we can't do it on the clip because we've got the hints on hover, obviously on the web version, the extension. But there's no hover on a mobile device.
Okay.
You can't hover your finger over the screen. So what we could do, I'll look at. We can obviously do it. It's finding what's the nicest way of doing it.
Okay. David has asked, are you still going, do you want another question, or are you still, sorry, did I cut you short?
No, yeah, we can do it. I'll have a think of the best way of actually putting it into the interface so we can actually do that. But yeah, to do it's really easy. The difficult part is where we put it.
Yeah, absolutely. So David said, I like the idea of the max cost having its own box. There you go. Maybe that could be, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now we've got the quick info panel. It does have it is a lot more prominent than in the sort of ranks and prices.
Yep. Kaylin has asked, and it joins up with Sophie's question above. Basically, he's asking, it's quite a long question. He's basically saying, is he grandfathered in? Are your costs going up? And then Sophie said, are there any discounts? There are no discounts because I think 11 quid is ridiculously cheap. So I don't think there's any discounts on that. The question is, Kaylin, is he grandfathered in? So he's thinking of, if I can read it correctly, he's thinking of moving up to the getting serious package, but he wants to see if he's grandfathered in first.
Yes, you'll be grandfathered. Whatever you're paying now, you'll be grandfathered in. We're looking at coming out of beta, I'd say imminently. I think realistically, we're going to be at the end of next month. Prices will be going up to new subscribers. Existing subscribers will be grandfathered in at the current price. And what I'm also going to do at some point this year, we're going to have to take this company VAT registered. For existing subscribers, I will swallow the VAT. So when we become VAT registered, so when we become VAT registered, if you are VAT registered, the price will effectively go down, as you'll be able to. We'll swallow that VAT up.
Wow, that's hugely generous.
And that is one of the reasons why, when we come out of beta, we will need to take the price up, is to cover the VAT and things like that.
Yeah. For sure. And I think honestly, I think 12 or 16 pounds is an amazing deal for everything you get in here, and your VAs can access it. There's no add-ons at all, is there? Everything SAS offers is included. There's nothing like extra. That's it. What you see is what you get.
Not at the moment, there isn't. But if we ever do anything, a major change, a major update, which has an additional cost, then that might become an add-on. But I know what it's like when you're selling. There's so many subscriptions and things like that. We want it to be really good value. I'd rather have a lot of customers paying what they are doing now rather than charging more. Because with software is really expensive to get developed. Running costs aren't that bad. With our sort of databases, we've got millions and millions of products, and we'll just keep building on it because it doesn't cost that much to keep adding to the database.
Yeah.
But your big cost is development. And the majority of the development in SAS, I've done personally. Yeah. So, and I suck up that cost. That's what I do. I enjoy doing it. And I haven't got to pay
software has something you're passionate about. You have to love doing it, I think, to make it work. I'm sure. Sarah's got a question. Do you need to press a button to scan? I was having issues doing RA today. So I assume I should talk about the mobile. Do you have to do anything to scan? You can shake your phone, can't you? Isn't there a funky?
Yeah, on the mobile, just tap scan. Okay. We added what we call a SAS shake in just after Christmas, where you basically just flick your phone and that will automatically enter scan mode. So you don't even have to look at the screen to find the button to scan. It's pretty sort of evident what you need to do. Without knowing exactly what your problem is, I can really sort of guess at what it could have been.
I suggest you reach out to our after via Facebook and go through what your issue is. I've got a question. How is it connected to Seller Toolkit? How does it talk to Seller Toolkit? Do you have to do anything? Is it automatic if you have both pieces of software?
Yeah, it's not automatic. In Seller Toolkit, you've got like a SAS setting where once you enable it, it will give you a unique key. Then in your SAS settings,
okay.
I won't show this as it's got my unique key in there.
Yeah, sure.
But in your SAS settings, you just go down to Seller Toolkit. You click on Configure. That will then let you put this key in that you've got from Seller Toolkit, and then SAS will talk to it.
Yeah.
And I've chatted to Norm a bit. Norm's a really good guy. He's like a fellow sort of tech head. And we've got quite a few different ideas of ways we can make our tools talk to each other and sort of should be mutually beneficial to our users.
Yeah, because I was describing it to people. So SAS is your go-to to work out if you want to buy it and if it's profitable. And then the second it goes from a potential product into your inventory, STK kind of takes over and carries on from there. So the softwares naturally have that meet in the middle where it's a really good point.
It's like SAS is post. No, SAS is pre. Yeah, and STK is post. So SAS is pre you buying it, STK is post you selling it.
Exactly. Okay, so another question. Can we see the price history on an item? Can you? You must be able to. Yeah.
You can by looking at the keeper graph, seeing how the price history has changed. We show the averages in the ranking price. So you've got the current price, so your 30-day, 90, 180 in the all-time average.
Yep.
You can't yet see, exact breakdowns, but some of the things we've got coming, that is something you will be able to dig deeper on. And when I say dig deeper, I mean you'll be able to dig a lot deeper.
Ooh, okay, awesome. So Kaelin's extended his question a little bit. He said, okay, so if you come out of beta and I'm on the basic package and then I go on to the Getting Serious package, will I pay the new price? I think the answer to that is get on now, don't wait.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say. I don't know.
I try and be really flexible, to be honest with you. Like, I should say no, you'd be paying the new price, but I will try and be flexible. Like, yeah.
I think if there are
really
things like that, just drop you a message and you'll see if you can work something out, I guess.
Yeah.
And you can look at how long people have been at the account and take lots of different factors into consideration, I imagine.
Yeah, like the way I sort of operate, if somebody's not trying to take them the key, I'll help them out as much as I can. Mm-hmm. It's like when sort of COVID hit, first hit last year, I did the offer of a payment break for people because I knew people were going to be struggling. And like a fair few people took us up on that, which is absolutely fine. That was the idea of it. I don't think we help people out.
That's one of the reasons why I think SAS is awesome, because it's designed by a seller, so you come from a seller's perspective, but you also understand the troubles that we're going through, all the issues we're having with things changing, and there was a problem that Amazon created by changing something to do with getting the details of the other sellers. And because you communicate with your users so often and so well, you found the problem and fixed it before DS Quickly you even knew there was a problem. It was like bish bash bosh, because you talk to us and you're in the trenches with us. And I think it was such a good example of how that works well.
Yeah, because Amazon changed how offers are displayed, and so we were getting the information. I'm just getting the offers and the stock counts. So we were getting it one way. Amazon changed it, and you can blame Amazon for changing it. But at the end of the day, Amazon can do what they want, so we've got to adapt. It's our responsibility. If Amazon make a change, we're responsible for actually then sort of coping with that change.
Yeah. So, what other questions have we got? Just have a quick look. Okay, so I've subscribed to Getting Serious, but how do I add the feature to my actual Amazon account? Is it easy to marry them together? So do people need to do anything to get, do you have to do a merchant token, or what do you have to do to link up the two?
Okay, yeah.
I think that's, if that's the right question, put it back in again, and Elaine will have a go.
The way it works is like we don't use the Amazon API.
Okay.
Because like
you'll have to explain that a bit more. I don't speak an API.
We don't sort of tie into your Amazon account.
Okay.
So when you're using an extension and the web app, if you're logged into your Amazon account, when we check eligibility, we will check on the logged in account. We don't connect to your account as such. Like in your settings, you can put your merchant token in. The only place that we use that is when we look at the offers. If we see the offer as your merchant token, we'll put an asterisk next to it.
So how do you know if someone's eligible for eligible to sell something and things if you're not attached into their Amazon, or have I got the wrong end of the stick?
Yeah, because you need to be, if you're logged into your Sell Essential account, when we check eligibility, we do like a call to Amazon within the browser to check eligibility. Right? So we don't tie to your Amazon account. We tie to the session that you're logged in as.
So that's why you have to refresh it. Is that why you have to refresh for it to work? Sometimes it just says comes up with login, and that's why you have to refresh.
Basically, like Amazon's logged you out or whatever. So yeah, so we don't tie to your Amazon account. We just use whatever account is logged in.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, so more questions about if people subscribe to the higher package, do you get the same price as that which we initially joined? I've known Al for quite a while now, and all I will say is that I do not know a more genuine and decent guy. So I'm 100% sure, however he does the price increase, will be absolutely fair. And if anything, he'll favour his users over himself, like the offer with the VAT. So all I can say is that as a fellow user, I'm completely happy that I'm in really, really, really great hands. So I wouldn't worry about that. He will see you all. Good. There you go. I've answered that one for you. Yeah. So, can you set a BSR limit? When you're searching, can you set? Sorry, Terence has asked. Can you set a BSR limit?
Not when you're searching. The way you would do that in your settings. When you set your buying criteria, you set your minimum BSR percentage and your maximum BSR. So if you wanted to limit to just the sort of top 5%, so you'd put like say 5 in there. Then on your results page, if it's outside of that limit, that's going to be red. And also in the ranks and prices, you're going to get, if it's outside of your limit, you'll get a red thumbs down. So you'll still get results, but it will indicate whether they're within your criteria or not.
Perfect. And what I was going to say, again, a bit like SAS talks to STK, SAS talks to Arbitrage Hero, and the data works together. So Arbitrage Hero is the one where you go in and you choose your limits, and it only gives you those results. SAS will scan anything you give it, whether it's part of your criteria or not, and it will just give you the results and the data so that you can make a good buying decision. Is that an accurate way to explain it, Al?
Yeah, because the way we're trying to Arbitrage Hero at the moment is if you follow the link on Arbitrage Hero to either to the Amazon page or the merchant page, it will automatically open the SAS extension, and it will populate it with like the cost price and the sale price.
Yeah. So SAS is, so Arbitrage Hero is the one that will you can set your limits, and it will only give you what there is a result, whereas SAS scans everything you give it, and it will just give you back the result, because it's like the data doesn't lie, or it is what it is. It just gives you the numbers that populate back. Does it work with a Bluetooth scanner? And if so, can you keep scanning barcodes without having to tap the app in between scans? Techie question.
Fantastic question.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I understand what I just read.
Okay, yeah, like with the web app, you could use that with like either Bluetooth barcode scanner or a wired barcode scanner. And yeah, you don't need to. I've not got one plugged in at the moment to demonstrate it, and you don't need to do anything between scans. With the in the mobile app, yeah, if you've got a Bluetooth scanner with the mobile app, I think we developed and tested with the Opticon, and yeah, then you can use that to scan. So you don't need to use the camera on your phone. You can use your Bluetooth scanner, and that will then. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to double check that whether you need to. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't need to touch anything on the phone, but I would need to double check that.
Ooh, okay, exciting. Lots of kind compliments. I think SAS is great. Love its features. Such a great tool. I love it. Thank you. Okay, question. I don't suppose SAS tracks the sales by FBM and FBA for any particular SKU, does it? I don't suppose sales by FBM or FBA for any particular SKU.
If you mean like we don't track sales, we do estimates and we do sales ranks, and like you cannot differentiate between FBA and FBM for like estimated sales like that. Or like I've got ideas, but I won't go into what they are just yet.
I love this. We talk about something like, yeah, I've got an idea, this is coming, and it's like, I want more information, but I can't get it. Okay, so skip on. Do you have to be subscribed to Keeper in order to view the graphs?
No, like the graphs are embedded in SAS. No, you don't need a Keeper subscription for those. Those will be displayed without a Keeper subscription.
Referring back to Terence's question about books, you'd want the numbers rather than percentages. So that's where so the BSR question is, e.g. books, you want numbers rather than percentages. So you've got the percentage and the number, they're both there. So 181 in that example on the screen is 0.00%, like the top, like weeny percent.
Right, okay. Yeah, at the moment it is just percentages. I'll have a think about that, because if you're doing numbers, as each category has different numbers of products in there. That's one thing we released just after Christmas.
Yeah, that was really good.
We do have our sort of sales rank tables.
And does that update?
You have the product. Yeah, we update that every 24 hours.
Wow. How did you get to that? Sorry, you went really, really quick. How would someone else go and see that? Because that is amazing.
If you go to help, and it's the sales rank tables.
There you go.
And like, you don't need a SAS subscription for that either. We make those public. So
wow.
Yeah, well, URLs SAS/BSR-tables. I will put a link in. We're getting the main website redesigned at the moment. I will put a link to it from the main website. But if you're not a SAS subscriber for whatever reason, if you bookmark that, yeah, you'll be able to go there and see them.
Okay, so people, I hear quite a lot of people who have these kind of courses and things, and they're taught to only look in the top 1% BSR. Like even up to the top 3 or 5%, the numbers are absolutely huge in some of those categories.
Yeah, and that's in the UK. If you look at the US, that's absolutely insane.
Oh wow!
If we can sort on product counts in the US.
Oh, so it's a sort of okay. You can play with it and sort it.
Yeah, that was a suggestion from a guy called Simon, actually. But yeah, that was a nice little one to add. So if you're sorting the product count,
it's got 68. Am I reading that right? 68 million items.
Well, it's 125 million for the clothing, but yeah.
Wow, that's mad.
In answer to the question, at the moment we're just on BSR percentages, basically because of all the different categories, and how it does change as well. That's why we do 1%. So
for the next time I hear someone tell me Amazon is saturated, I shall send them this and say, if you can't find a product in here, then it's user error, not Amazon error, because Amazon's massive. It's huge. And also, if you have a look, just from like a seller's perspective, obviously some of them are bigger than others. If you go back to the UK, can you go back to the UK one?
Yeah.
like people think grocery, beauty and toys, actually like garden, home and kitchen, pet supplies. Pet supplies got over 2 million products in the UK.
Yeah, because I think with the clothing one, that's probably a little bit misleading, because you're going to have a lot of different sort of sizes in clothing.
Could be.
But,
And just massive. Yeah. Okay, so I think we've done a lot of questions. So I've got a couple of questions for you. So what was your favourite feature? You said your favourite feature as a seller, which was your maximum price. What was your favourite feature to develop, to create?
It's just European marketplaces. It's like it's not as relevant for the UK at the moment with Brexit and not being able to do EFN and what have you. But yeah, but being able to sort of see what the prices are in the different European marketplaces, seeing what your profit and return of investment are based on the extra EFN fees. We can do EFN or pan-EU fees. And then simply by clicking any of these, it instantly changes your calculator, all the fees, all of the costs are, the stock levels.
One of the questions earlier on was what makes SAS different. And I think SAS is so different because everything interacts. Right, so that's about the third different example where you've clicked on one thing and it populates everything else. It's not just here's your data, go and read that. It's really, really like tangible and like interactive.
Yeah, and because so with the European ones, and we go back to your sort of ranks and prices again. You can just click these and they'll instantly change for that marketplace. I'd say stock levels and so doing a European marketplace, I think that was my most enjoyable one, and I could use little flags as well, which is kind of cool.
Okay. Okay, another question. I haven't prepped this one. I'm going to throw it at you. If you were to quickly show me two things that you think most people don't use or don't know is on your software. So one for me would be when you're looking at other sellers, you can just look at Prime or all offers. I don't think many people know that exists. Yeah, so you can turn on. So that's my secret one that I don't think many people know how to use or know as it exists is this here.
So so with this is showing like the top 10 of all offers. If we switch it to Prime only, this is actually the top 10 Prime offers. There's actually only 3 in this case.
Well done. Because, yeah. Sorry.
That's remembered between scans. The next time you do a scan, it will default to Prime only. And again, this is another one where it's an instant change. I think there's a guy called Gavin that sort of asked for this because he sells a lot of things, and he's only interested in competing with Prime people. He doesn't care about FBM. And if you're on a really popular listing where there's like a load of FBM sellers, if we only show the top 10, you might not see any of the Prime.
Yep.
So, by being able to switch like that, it lets you sort of focus on who you're really competing against. Like the way I'd use it, I'd use both.
Yeah.
If I'm just selling Prime, I'd certainly look at the Prime, but I would make sure if there's not somebody in here that's really in these sort of all offers that's really cheap with a lot of stock.
Alison's one was eBay with an exclamation mark. Yes, SAS works on eBay. That's a really good.
So with the eBay one, there's only 2 buttons. You've got search on eBay and sold on eBay. So there's one of the things I do analysing. If for whatever reason, say the price that you've got, it looks really good, the competition's ridiculous, but you still think it's a really good deal, I'd be interested in looking at if I can sell this on eBay. So in this example, I do a quick search on eBay. That searches for that item by barcode on eBay, what the current listings are. Ignore my purses, my purchase is being shown because it's so shipping from the UK to the US. You've also got the one where you can see if it's sold before. Because we all know you can try something for whatever price you like. If it doesn't sell, it doesn't make any difference. So by looking at what has sold in the past on eBay for that item, I think we improved this like 2 weeks ago now to how we search eBay. So however you find the item in SAS,
yeah,
we will. If we've got a barcode, we'll use a barcode to search eBay. A few products don't have barcodes. If that's the case, we'll use whatever you search to find it.
yeah.
Unless it's an ASIN. We won't search eBay with an ASIN because that doesn't make any sense.
No.
As Amazon specific. So then we'd actually use the product title.
Yeah.
It's really
Could
fast.
you use this if you've got a customer returned that's a bit damaged or something that's suddenly like hazmat that isn't really hazmat, and that's where Amazon's having a bit of a hissy fit? Could you look up to check if it's better on eBay if it's no longer profitable on Amazon?
Yeah, you could do. So something has come back, you could use that to quickly search eBay. You could also do, like sometimes you might look at eBay and find it's cheaper on eBay. Wait, just lost my headphones.
You lost us again.
Yeah. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, we've got you. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So you could even use sort of searching on eBay to see if you could source from eBay. Like I've sourced from eBay before, but I would only recommend doing it from a big store.
Yeah,
Their
clearance set. Here's a little tip for everyone. They've got an enormous whole separate clearance eBay account, if that's the right word, and their whole shop is full of the clearance stuff from Argos, and there's some amazing deals on there, and you still get the same Argos receipt. So I wouldn't recommend it normally because you can't guarantee it's a legitimate item, but there's some people like Argos not do the clearance stuff on here, so that's really good. If we got any more questions from anybody before we wrap up, if there's anyone I missed out or didn't get the proper explanation, a bit of an extension on the eBay question. Could you add a count of how many sold and how many currently listed? That was within the sold on eBay section, wasn't it?
It
takes you to that page, doesn't it?
Yeah, it takes you to the page. It shows you there. I think at the moment you'd need to sort of manually count or look what has sold in
eBay, or is that something that you're just touching on and going to carry on predominantly on Amazon? You're going to build your eBay side of this bit, or I mean that brings me on to my last question. Can you give us any hints and tips as to anything new that's coming? Is there anything we can get excited about?
Yeah, I've got around about 6 months worth of work of different additions and features that I want to add into SAS. I must admit, I've been saying 6 months for about the past year. But not really.
The bulk of SAS is done now, isn't it? The bulk of what you want, the main structure's there. It's just sort of doing the extra bits and extending stuff. Is it? I mean, I don't understand tech stuff, but
there's about 3 big features that I want to add. One of them that'll be coming soon is our own versions of keeper charts and keeper information.
Awesome.
That is on the way. Other major things, like there's something I spoke to you about earlier, which if I wasn't on this call now, that would have been going live today, which is another extra bit of information which I think people will love.
All I can do is smile with a nodding dog face. Yes, it's really awesome stuff. Yeah, you've got some really good plans. Yeah.
There's quite a few. A lot of the way SAS has sort of progressed has been by user suggestions.
Yeah.
So if a user makes a suggestion and it makes sense and we can do it, we will. How
would people get hold of you and tell them your ideas? How do people reach you?
Email is good.
Okay.
If you email ideas@solarramp.com, that's a great way of getting to me. Like we've got our Facebook group that is sort of SolarRamp Beta. So if Alison could paste a link in there, you get a lot of suggestions in there. I get a lot of direct messaging as well. Like if it's a really, really cool idea, I'd much rather you tell me in private rather than telling everybody.
Awesome. With regards to sorry, with regards to ideas, Alison and I make a weekly video of updates and like just using it as an example of how to source. So if there's anything that people have seen in here or in general use they're not sure about, ping that in the group or let Al or Alison know, and Alison and I will make a 15-minute video. We make one every week, so it's always good to have some interesting topics if people want stuff covered. Google, I know you're doing one on Google Sheets, aren't you? Because that's really complicated. Well, it's not complicated.
Yeah.
It's just tricky to, once you understand it's easy, but it's tricky to get started, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I've started this video a couple of times. I will dedicate some more time into doing it, because we do need some more training videos, definitely.
Yes. Well, I think that's everyone's questions. Thank you so much for your time. We've been on for an hour and a half. It hasn't felt like that. Gosh, we've talked about lots of things. Is there anything that hasn't popped up in a question or you want to tell us about SAS? Have we covered everything?
Also, things we're working on at the moment. So we've got this keeper information, extra keeper charts is coming. Also, the eligibility in mobile is something that we need to do. I'm looking at another way of doing that now, which I'm really hoping we're going to get that cracked in the next week or two.
Yep.
Because what I'd like the sort of extension mobile and web to be exactly the same. My sort of list of ideas is pretty long. There's a few major things in there, which one of the major ones is the keeper one. There's another 3 major things that I've not seen before, which will be getting added. Yeah.
Exciting. Awesome. Thank you very much for doing the Q&A with us today. If anyone wants to join SAS, I'll put a link underneath this, because this will become a YouTube video, I think Alison's just said up there, so I'll pop a link in there. Otherwise, reach out to Alison and Al, and thank you for your kind words. I don't know if you can see the chat, Al. I know Alison can. There was some really lovely compliments, by the way, about you in general and about your software. So you're getting a lot of love. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I can't see it.
No, it's well deserved. There you go. Awesome. Thank you so much. I think that's all we have to cover today. So yeah, it's been fun. We'll do it again at some point, I think.
I think one thing I will add, because Emily's got her link, so sellup.com/EMZ. Is it? Oh, is it?
Yeah.
If you post your link, if anybody does sign up, or anybody from this video, like both Emily and I do walk and talks where we chat to people.
I nicked my idea from you. I can't take the credit. I nicked it from you. Yeah.
Well, but like, I'm more than happy to talk to anybody on a walk and talk, give me like 30 minutes or whatever, because I walk a lot. And like, if you've got any questions, I think not just about SAS, just about selling on Amazon in general. I'm happy to do that. So I do them the first week of every month. But if anybody on this webinar wants to have a walk and talk, just drop me a message.
Well, I think the thing is, like, so take your awesome SAS and developer side away. You've been selling for 5.5 years. Now, I know lots and lots of sellers, and I think the most experienced one I know of is like 4 years. So you are an incredibly experienced seller, and you've watched Amazon change and grow and all the panics that have resolved themselves. And I just think you're just a awesome person to tap into the knowledge. So yeah, definitely, if you guys want to do a walk and talk, ours a great fountain of Amazon knowledge.
Well, thank you.
Pleasure. Yeah, no, it's good. Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. Any questions, pop them in our Facebook group. But yeah.
Can I just ask one question, if anybody can post? What's the Man U Liverpool score?
Oh no, don't tell me. Don't tell me, I don't know.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, don't say anything.
I can't believe we did a webinar at the same time as the biggest football game of the season so far. Hey ho. I haven't heard any shouts from the other room. I was waiting, so it's probably 0-0 because no major shouting going on, so I'm all right. Catch a second half. Awesome. Thank you so much. That's really good.
Okay. Cheers, guys.
Take care. Bye.
Okay. Thank you.